System malfunction.
Kick. Drum.
Bass. Bass. Bass.
Kick. Drum.
Bass.
Alright, y'all. So, back again. I got me a new toy today, and I'm pretty excited about it. It is a truck bed tent. I got it from my Tacoma. It's one that I've never had one like this before. I've always just had ground tents, so this is my first actual elevated tent. And you're going to get to watch me put it up for the first time. I have not opened it. I have not looked at the instructions. I've watched videos when I was looking at what I wanted to buy, but this is the first time I just took it out of the box. It's the first time I've looked into it. The name of the tent is Joy. We're calling it Tutus, or Tooties today. It comes with a little cool handle. You can unzip it there. It's going to be rolled up like a little burrito. And I'm just going to let you watch me struggle to put this bad boy together. The instructions are sewn into the side of the bag. So I will say that one thing I wish that I had have done is set it up on the ground. The instructions should say that, but I didn't really pay attention to those. It is kind of hard to reach the top with the poles. And so I really wish I had have set it up, but it wasn't hard to set up by myself. It just has your standard tent poles that you pull apart, fold down, fold back out. There are 3 poles. So you've got 3 long poles, and then 1 short pole. And the 2 go diagonal across the top, and the 1 actually opens the door, and then the short pole separates the door from the tent itself. One thing I didn't really realize what the setup was going to be like, and what you're basically doing is making the tent part actually sits up onto the top part of the truck bed, and then the door part actually sits down below out onto the tailgate, so that it doesn't look like you just built a tent and stuck it in the bed of your truck. It actually looks like it's part of the truck. It actually turned out way cooler than I thought it was going to be honest. So here you just see me, I'm just putting the poles through. I made the mistake of trying to connect the poles to their little pouches before I got both of the crisscross poles in, so definitely want to do that. But it's been a little while since I've actually had a pole tent, so I was surprised that I got it to go up as easy as it did. As you see, now I'm fighting it because it's in the bed of the truck as opposed to me just building it on the ground first. Now this part did confuse me just a little bit. I wasn't exactly sure how the layout of the tent was. At this point I was still thinking it was supposed to just be sitting in the bed of the truck. But once I finally figured out that the 3rd long pole actually goes through, I'm looking for the pouch and where the pouch goes, so I thought maybe I'd put it in the wrong place. Once I realized that that pole actually goes through and brings out the front part and the door of the tent, then it started to make a little bit more sense to me. But basically I just fed it through, put this end in one pouch, put the other end in the other pouch, and as you can see, it pops up the front to where it actually looks like a tent. From there, I was still trying to figure out the actual layout, and that's about the time that it hit me that the actual tent part was supposed to be up on the side of the truck and not down in the truck bed itself. So I had to figure out how to put the pole in, and I was just trying to look to see where it was supposed to go when I was trying to get all my hooks done. And I got all the rest of the hooks put onto the pole so that everything was good and fanned out. And then from there, I had to figure out what to do with the little pole. And so I realized that there were 2 little holes, little brackets on either end of the front part of the tent, and I needed to put it in between those to open it up. Well, from there, I couldn't really reach it. This is when I was really regretting not doing this on the ground because now I had to climb up in the bed of the truck, which can be difficult at times. So I got that set up. Now then the last part is just kind of to fan everything out and to secure the straps to the actual bed of the truck. So it doesn't matter where you put the hooks on. The straps are just pull tight straps. So you just hook the hooks wherever you can find on your truck and you just pull them down tight. It seems like it's a pretty good system. I think that the tent would probably hold up to pretty high winds. I mean, I didn't tighten it very tight, but it sure didn't seem like it was moving much at all. So I'm just going to walk around and just tighten these guys up. Inside, I found that it was just a little bit, off on that side. So I tried to adjust it. I thought maybe I had it a little bit too tight compared to the other side, but it seemed to work out just fine. I did adjust the tailgate a little bit as well. I had that a little bit too tight to close the door. But as you can see on the inside, it has a floor. That was one of the biggest things I wanted. It has 2 windows for ventilation and then a ventilation in the back that zips open. All right, so I pulled the tent down out of the truck bed and put it in the shade just so it's a little bit cooler for me. It's pretty hot out today. So I wanted to kind of go over a few things where you couldn't really see. So it's like I said, I had the 3 long poles and the 2 big poles crisscrossed across the top, and then the one right here went across the front, and that was the one that is in the against the tailgate of the truck. And it had the small one that goes in between those 2 that kind of separates them to give them gives that door the actual entrance look to it. There is no rain fly with this tent, but I will say that with the zippers, it does have a pretty good overhang where I feel like water will repel really well against it. But I am going to spray it down with some Kiwi Camp Dry, just because I do with almost all of my tents. I feel like it just adds to the water repellent feature that it has. I'm going to hit the inside of it real quick. I do like to hit the roof really well and the floor really well. It just kind of helps keep what I miss on the outside better on the inside. This is also the back of the tent where the vent is. So it opens up and it has a little Velcro bar that kind of helps open it. That keeps the vent, and then there's a way to zip it. I feel like if you had like a sliding glass roof door like I do in my truck, that I probably could reach through and maybe grab something easily out of the cooler in the back of the truck. But there's enough room in the tent itself that you could keep your cooler with you if you wanted to. All right, so now comes everybody's favorite part, breaking the tent down. So I basically start where I finished. So I'm going to take the little guy down first, and then from there I'll take the big half circle and then the 2 cross poles, and then we'll have the fun task of trying to break the tent down and fit it back into the carrying case. Anybody who has ever camped before knows that is the hardest part. I will say the little bag that the poles came in, I know that the bag is that wide. So you'll see me as I try to get the tent closed down around that. I try to keep it at least at that width. That way it won't, I know width-wise it will fit. It's going to be too big around. But that's part of it. Now this is where things get to be really, really fun. I cannot figure out for the life of me how I want to do this. So I decided to just whee, and that didn't work either. So I ended up just having to unzip a little bit because apparently I made it waterproof and airproof, and so none of the air wanted to come out. So this is where I was telling you I take the bag and decide that that would be my go-to. So I know that the bag is just as I know that the bag is as wide as the tent pole bag. So I decided to use that as a guide and roll it back out, make it as small as that, and then roll it back up. All right, guys, I was able to squish it back down, get it tied back up, and get it back in its bag. And if you'd like to see more adventures of me taking Dirty Gertie and Tootie the tent out on some adventures, subscribe and follow. And as always, I hope you enjoyed watching this as much as I enjoyed making it. And get outdoors.